The entire city is racked by an explosion. You see the twisted face of a woman.
I see the blood on his clothes.
You seem like you're keeping another secret.
Here's your roll.
19!
Meets it, beats it! That's what it feels like!
Voices singing and almost wailing.
Did you just infer that I was flirting?
Yes.
I thought D&D was just fun. Welcome to Ravenloft!
Welcome everybody to Age of Radio Mercury, your home for podcasting and pop culture news. And before we kick off this show and see how Trey's doing, this is fantastic stuff that's happening right now. Dungeon Masters, come roll with us 422 through 2026 at 6:30 p.m. It looks like Wizards of the Coast is starting their own Dungeons and Dragons show called Dungeon Masters. Trey, have you heard about this? Have you seen this? Do you know anything about this?
I noticed an article. I should have grabbed it. I think it looks awesome.
The entire city is racked.
Let's watch it one more time because I was trying to get this on Facebook when
the entire city is racked
Yep.
by an explosion. You see the twisted face of a woman.
I see the blood on his clothes.
You seem like you're keeping another secret.
Here's your roll.
19!
Meets it, beats it! That's what it feels like!
Voices singing and almost wailing.
Did you just infer that I was flirting?
Yes.
I thought D&D was just fun. Welcome to Ravenloft!
All right, so this is a Dungeons and Dragons official show called Dungeon Masters. And it looks like it's a brand new official Dungeons and Dragons actual play series. It launches on April 22nd at 6:30 p.m. with both episode 1 and 2. It's going to be showcasing unreleased content from Ravenclaw, The Horrors Within, which I'm really excited about. Dungeon Masters stars Jasmine Barr from Desi Quest and Dimension 20 as Dungeon Master, and she is joined by Mayana Barron from Dispatch and The Dungeon Run, Christian Navarro from 13 Seasons Y and Forgotten Realms, Neil Newborn from Baldur's Gate 3, and Devorah Wild from Baldur's Gate 3. And it's going to feature an all-original score by 5-time Grammy-nominated composer David Arkenstone. So I hope that they maybe release some records of some of the, I guess, I like records or vinyl. It'd be cool if they release some vinyl, some of the score that's going into this. And so you can see Ravenclaw come to life on Ravenloft, come to life in campaign 1 of the series as you follow the party. It's going to be Krim, a reanimator artificer, which is one of my favorite artificers, is one of my favorite types of classes. Zora, a Hexblood Shadow sorcerer. Eloyne, a Winter Walker ranger. And Wesley, a Grave Domain cleric. Clerics are one of my second favorite classes in Dungeons and Dragons. I'm really excited about this. But more importantly, I'm really excited to pre-order Ravenloft. And I'm really excited to see what special guests that they have coming on this show because they will have special guests coming on it. So Trey, would this be something that you would check out?
100%. As a matter of fact, there is, and I'm actually going to take a quick side out here, Jeremy. I don't know if you saw. You might want to double check that you're using your normal mic because your sound is a little. It doesn't sound like it normally does. I could be wrong.
Does this sound better, Trey?
That does sound better. It's a little
might be.
quieter,
Thanks,
but yes.
Trey. I appreciate that. It always StreamYard always kicks over to my freaking Zoom. I don't even know what mic it was using. It never has the L8 on it. But anyway, Trey, back to Dungeons and Dragons.
Right. So this is one of my favorite actually content types, and I need to get back into it. There's a specific YouTube channel if you're ever looking for like tons and tons of this content. It's called PSYLP, and it's this group of people who are really awesome people, and they do like D&D and Rifts and all sorts of fun stuff. Like this is, I don't know if it's something that I would watch, but it's something I would 100% listen to.
Yeah, the only thing that there is a show on Age of Radio called Dungeons and Damsels, and it's females that do kind of like the same type of thing, and they have like a campaign that they're doing, and they record it and they talk about it. That concept I love. The only thing that I'm worried about with this specific show is I feel like some of the things, like the way that I don't know if you're able to see like their expressions or what they looked like, it seems kind of forced. Like, because they're putting on a show rather than like playing the game intently to play it for the game's sake, right? What's up, Joey? We are talking about Ravenloft, the Horrors Within, a new campaign from Dungeons and Dragons coming out, and their new show, Dungeon Masters. That's the only thing that I have a problem with from what I saw, but I think it'd be cool because, you know, one of the things that I think people forget is a lot of actors are nerds, right? You have to be a nerd to be a thespian. You have to be kind of a geek to go up there and do like theater. And so one of the things that a lot of people don't realize is because actors are kind of geeks, a lot of famous actors play Dungeons and Dragons. And a lot of actors that are famous individuals or high profile individuals, if they're introduced to Dungeons and Dragons, a lot of them tend to have that kind of geekiness to them, and would probably play. So because they play, I'm excited to see the types of people that they can get on the show to do it, because that would be really cool if they had, you know, some famous actors on there that were able to get into the show. But yeah, it starts April 22nd. So Trey, just to kind of get us into the show, if you're just tuning in, my name is Jeremy. This is Creator Trey. This is a show called Mercury, your home for podcasting and pop culture news. Trey, you took a long trip yesterday. How long does it take till you get to Billings from where you live?
It's about 3 hours, three to 3.5
Oh my God,
hours.
Trey, you have to drive 3 hours to see your endocrinologist?
I do.
That is ridiculous. So you weren't kidding when you're like, I have to get ready for a drive. So you spent a 6-hour trip to go see a doctor?
Yeah, and it was probably closer to 8. I think we left at like 10:45 and didn't get back until 8 in the evening. So
Oh my God. Okay, so Grandma had to drive, or did someone else drive? Did your mom or someone?
Grandma drove me.
Okay.
Thank God for her.
Yeah, so why is the endocrinologist so far? Do they not have doctors where you live, Trey?
They have doctors. Endocrinologists are a bit different. There was, I don't know what it's like now, but there was just one. And I went and saw her. And you want your doctor to be able to like listen to you. And if you say, hey, I may not need this, they should say, yeah, probably not. The doctor that I saw here was a horrible bedside manner. So I'm very happy with the one in Billings. We've been seeing it since I lived in Billings. So.
Right. And so just so for everybody that's on here, I won't say the diseases that we have, just for, I don't know, seems like a HIPAA violation or something, but is that both Trey and I have to see endocrinologists for the same reason, partly, and then I have a different reason that I need to see an endocrinologist. But the point is that I had the same problem, Trey. That's why I don't technically have an endocrinologist right now. I need to find one, because I hated my endocrinologist before. I won't bash them if you're living in Arizona, but yeah, I was not a fan of my endocrinologist here. But so you drove, you saw the endocrinologist, you came back, and I want to talk to you because you released a cool Substack article recently. I think that's where I want to kick off with this, because I just got off of another podcast that I do called the Wealth Transfer Podcast on the 3T Warrior Academy website. And if you're interested, there's a little thingy down there you can look at. And except I don't think Jalissa's going to be on it anymore, but her picture's here. And so point being is that I was on this podcast. We were talking about artificial intelligence and a possible bubble, but you put out a new Substack article that specifically talks about that I now lost because it's asking me to type my email. Oh, I can X out of this. Okay. And I was like, I already gave Trey my email, and he knows my email anyway. So he could attack me, knows where I live. He knows everything about me. Should I be
Hold on one
concerned?
moment, Jeremy. Grandma,
Yeah.
I'm on the
Grandma,
live.
come
You're just-
down. Okay, sorry. Did she not know you were on the
she-
pod? It's okay.
She did not know. She forgot.
That's good. She can come and join us anytime she wants. That's how we roll around here. Now, this AI bubble article, was this the one that I was also supposed to help you on?
No, the one that you and I were going to do together was essentially saying something a bit. It's not that it's not true. It's just like a different thing. This is where I think that the market is going. The other one is a little bit more about how I think that AI will last past the bubble.
Right. So you're in this article, you're essentially saying that there is a bubble, that it's real, it's going to be massive, and you believe we'd see a supply glut around 2029. Can you walk me through a little bit about the argument in this article and where you think that AI is headed with this bubble, Trey?
Yeah. So I had already thought that there was going to be a supply glut by 2029 because one, there's all of these planned facilities for AI are expected to finish around 2030. Some of them have been postponed, but most of them are going to be finishing around 2030. And then I believe that the timeline for them purchasing the parts is going to be 2029 because they still need all of the time to get everything put together and up and functioning. So my original thought was, even if the market continues as is, eventually this infrastructure is going to come to completion and there's going to be a bit of a taper. And at the same time, there are fabrication facilities, one in Arizona, as a matter of fact, that are coming online to supply more of the DRAM components that is being so constricted right now because of AI, because everybody's sending their DRAM to AI. So I thought there was going to be a glut. And then I saw in one of the things I talked about how Allbirds is becoming Newbird's AI. That took me from, it's going to cool down to, no, this is a .com moment, and it's going to go up and crash like a flippin', I don't know, some kind of poorly maintained plane.
Yeah. Do you think if that was the case, companies like Microsoft specifically, they invested heavily into Claude. They invested heavily, obviously, into OpenAI, being one of the largest shareholders or owners of whatever OpenAI is at this point, whether it's a nonprofit or a for-profit or whatever the case is. But do you think that we're going to see companies like that get a hit back? Do you think there was too much money from the companies going into investing into AI that when some of the pullback on the AI infrastructure happens, that would be a systemic or like a maybe not systemic, but it would cause companies like Microsoft, NVIDIA to get hit hard from it?
Oh, NVIDIA is going to get hit extremely hard from it because they're making a lot of the high bandwidth memory. I don't know so much about Microsoft, excepting the fact that a lot of their stuff there might be looking for some sort of ROI eventually. Although, as I again mentioned in the article, companies are willing to wait a lot longer nowadays after what happened with Amazon.
Yeah, absolutely. Trey, there's a QR code here up at the top left. If anybody wants to click that, they can join Trey's Substack. When it comes to OpenAI, who do you like? I know that we use ChatGPT. You use ChatGPT. You recently told me that you tried Claude Cowork, which I didn't even know what the hell that was until you just told me. And so which company out of OpenAI Claude, Grok, Gemini, Perplexity, which uses different language, like a plethora of the other language models. They don't create their own language, from my understanding. And then from something like Meta and Llama, who do you think's going to get hurt the most from the AI infrastructure falling? Because like the thing that well, let me ask that question first.
So I don't think that ChatGPT is going to, like, they're all going to, I think that it's going, like, the AI is eventually going to suffer a pullback, and that is going to affect these companies. I don't know to what extent. I think that maybe ChatGPT and Claude, because Google and X and Meta, they all have all of their other cash flow streams going, but Claude specifically and OpenAI specifically, they don't have that yet.
Yeah.
So they would be, but I actually think that this is going to hit hardest are the hardware manufacturers.
Got it. Such as like NVIDIA.
Like NVIDIA, like TSMC, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, everybody, if you want to keep up to date on what's going on with AI, that is a topic that Trey and I talk a lot about. Go ahead and on that QR code if you want to follow his Substack, or reach out on Substack at Creator Trey. I recently started a Substack. I called it the Orange Robed Adventures. I have really no I had an idea of what I wanted to put on there, and then I don't know what's going to happen. But I will write specific content for my Substack that I won't put other places. And it's probably going to be more, I want to say, religious based or like esoteric based concepts, things that I wouldn't post on the places where people know me for finance and so forth. But ever since I started it, I just started posting my normal videos that I post that have nothing to do with any of the things that I just said. So who knows exactly what will happen with that blog and if I'll make time for that blog. But you can also follow me on Substack now at the Orange Robed Adventures. I think you can probably also find it at Age of Jeremy as well. And William here from the Creators Outlet podcast says, what, no AI slop? We actually got rid of that segment because Sora is going to be going away, and Vibe is a horrible name for AI slop. And I think that we just got a lot of pushback from a lot of creators, which I agree with. I want creators to be able to go and make money, but I also think that it's unrealistic in some capacity to think that you're going to be able to not be a part of AI because it's being integrated into everything that we specifically do, or that we not specifically do, that we do on a regular basis. And I think that that's going to actually continue, even though I think that what Trey is saying is going to happen. There is going to be an AI bubble. That bubble is going to lead to a large pullback or a large crash in the AI sector. And then from there, it'll kind of be integrated more and more, just kind of like we would think of like an internet bubble.
Yeah. Before we move on from that, Jeremy, I'm curious. We don't have to go too far into detail if you don't want to. What did you think of my conspiracy on there?
Dive deeper into it for me, Trey.
Okay,
go over the conspiracy briefly.
So the entire thing is create the problem, sell the solution. I find it very strange that there are people pumping up this balloon, especially after, again, check out the Wealth Transfer podcast because it covered something very interesting that kind of put me more into this mindset. But back when there was a major problem with milk, and the milk and cheese farmers were having like massive oversupply on that, the government went and purchased all of that supply.
Yeah. So here too. So continue with that, Trey, for people that don't know what you're talking about.
Okay, so my thought is that this is getting blown way further than it needs to be, which is going to make chip prices crash, which and these fabs are hard to turn off. So they can't stop the supply from coming out. So my thing is the government is going to be, okay, we're going to stop these companies from going under, because this happens every time, actually. I didn't put this in the article, but every time there's a boom bust when it comes to chips, companies die off.
Yeah, but it could also be a way to crash it and then create the ability to fabricate them easier and then create fabrication in the United States, which is one of the biggest problems is that we don't have a lot of our own fabrication for these types of chips, right? And
Right.
so if we're thinking about it from a conspiracy theory, it could be plausible that the government is going to try to do something to crash this sector of the economy because it will allow us then to go in and start manufacturing chips at a lower cost because we've outsourced for the most part our hardware to two main companies, TMCS and then also NVIDIA. So I think that, one of the things that the Trump administration did was they went ahead and bought we didn't buy, we nationalized a portion of, I think it was IBM for their, was it IBM or was it, not IBM, it was Intel, to help with the fabrication of the chips. And so, because we have a big fabrication problem. So to be honest with you, Trey, that could be possible. I mean, if there is a conspiracy theory to do that and then take over the production of that thing, that is very plausible.
Well, my thought is because again, the government could. This would be a very easy way, and I'm not saying that this is actually going to happen. It's just it makes sense to me. If the chips are at a record low, and the companies are in danger of collapsing, the government could say, "Oh yeah, we'll buy all of that," and that would make them able to create massive data centers in their own right.
Oh yeah, from a data center standpoint too. I didn't think about it. I was looking at it from a fabrication standpoint because of the fact that Taiwan fabricates almost all of the world's chips. So
Yeah,
was
I
thinking
think
about it
that's
from that
true too.
capacity. Could be very, very true. But no, I like where you're thinking with that. And again, great article, Trey. And again, if you want to subscribe to Trey's Substack, head on over to Creator Trey on Substack, or is it just Trey on Substack, or is it Creator Trey?
It's Creator Trey, yeah.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Just as Trey here on this article, but I was like, it's Creator Trey. All right, moving into some more AI news. It looks like that podcasting is being flooded with AI slop, not the slop of the images sort, but for new shows, it seems that normal human-made podcasts are now in the minority, according to the Podcast Index, visible on the Podcast Index news feed report. At the time of writing this article from podnews.net, April 15th, it is saying that 44.6% of new shows in the last 24 hours were likely legitimate, with 45.7% potentially produced by AI. That is the most ridiculous thing that I have ever freaking heard. How real do you think that is, Trey?
Unfortunately, I think that's very real. It's a big problem, but I do think it's real.
See, and I guess, Trey, tell me, why do you think it's a big problem? Like, why is it a big problem? Is it because it's I can understand it. I'm not saying that it's not a big problem, and I'm not saying that it is a big problem. I don't know, because the thing is that if I can see why in the art space, taking jobs away from people that make a living with illustrations, make a living with content creation in the form of drawing as an art form or as a medium. Do you think it's the same thing as it relates to podcasting? Do you think that these things are taking over live people doing podcasts and will like stop that from happening?
I don't think that's it. I think that this is just making the field a lot more what's the right word? It's overblown. I think that's not the right word. What I'm trying to say is, I think that these are essentially just space fillers, because as we've talked about, a lot of times when people are trying to find podcasts, they don't go via topic. Podcasts aren't like a social media thing. They are very much like we've talked about before, mid-funnel. So in my opinion, these are just, they might make money. I don't know if they do or not, but I think that they are just kind of sitting there and they're taking up bandwidth for stuff that actually could possibly make more money or allow these because these hosts have to deal with all of this new content coming in now. So it's going to jam things up for the people who are actually making good work.
Inception Point AI added 20 wellness shows in one day, marked wellness, in less than 75 minutes. The shows offer AI generated advice about codependency, mental health, vaccinations, gambling addiction, anger management, panic attacks, and they're all hosted by Julia Cartwright or Dr. Mara Lennox, and start by saying things like, I want you to know that I'm an AI host, which means I can engage with sensitive, deeply personal material without judgment, agenda, or projection. When Pod News Daily or podnews.net interviewed Inception Point AI CEO Janine Wright in 2025, she told them that for health and wellness advice, somebody is involved in listening and reviewing the content before it is released. Do you think that this content could lead to more? What's the word that I'm looking for? Probably more fake content out there in the world, even though that they're reviewing it at some point in time. Because like there's going to be other companies that are going to try to do the same thing if they can make money on it that they're not reviewing.
Yeah, I think that if there's a way that they can do it, they're going to do it. I don't think that this specifically is going to add to, like, I don't think that people are going to get the idea from this, but I think the idea is already out there, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, absolutely. But I do think that it does take away from the bandwidth. It also takes away, depending on how the dynamic ads are being placed inside of these shows or the sponsorships that they're selling. I do think that this is going to continuously be a problem. I know that the governor of California, Gavin Newsom, had mentioned that he is working on, or he already did, I'm not 100% sure, working on legislation where AI that is shown in California, I believe, is going to have to show that it is, or content that is AI generated has to show AI generated content. Do you think that that could be a solve for some of the fake news or the fake information that's going out there, or impersonations of, you know, like when Donald Trump was dressed up as Jesus healing Jeffrey Epstein?
Jeez. No, I don't. I think that it's a great way to do it, but I genuinely don't think that it's like the put your seatbelt on before you're driving. Everyone knows that you should do that. Everyone should do that. This is obvious safety stuff. But one, like, not everybody does, and two, that law is almost impossible to actually try and follow or carry out. And so this is the same thing, in my opinion. There's no way that they can try and actually.
Do you think at a Fed level it could be done? Because I was listening to the All In podcast, you know, a month or two ago, and they talked a little bit about some of the things that Gavin Newsom was trying to do. And the main host, Jason, I think his name is, he was, I think, maybe a proponent for it. I can't remember. But then obviously David Sachs, who's the crypto czar and the tech czar of the Trump administration, was saying that, you know, it shouldn't be state regulated. It should be federally regulated, if anything, and if at all. And the fact is, because it would be, like you said, very difficult from a state to state regulation standpoint, being able to see it. But because it would create different points for the tech companies that would have to do to make that available in one state and not available tracking in another state. But do you think if you did it from a Fed level and it was just a mandate that social media companies enforce that, do you think that that would have any benefit?
And no, I really don't. I genuinely think that the federal government should focus on stuff like education is the key. Educate people. Hey, there is stuff. Here's the science to look at. Because frankly, there is no way to do this. Like, there is, you can try and edit the metadata, but that can be edited. Sora tried to make sure that people knew that it was AI by putting a watermark. People masked over the watermark. There is no real way to protect the consumers from this content and to stop this content from getting to them, unless there is some way unless the AIs stop, essentially.
Yeah. So you think that the only way to really do it is just to not have AI if we were to do something that would do the prevention?
Yeah. There's no, like, it's, we've been trying to lock down some of the nastier forms of content on the internet. The nastier forms of content still get made. It's the same thing here.
Yep.
You can't put the cat back in the bag. I'm sorry.
Absolutely. Rockstar's parent company is trading higher than it has in months following a Shiny Hunters breach. Rockstar had hackers releasing GTA Online financials, and it actually made Take-Two stock go up after Rockstar Games data and files obtained from a security breach were shared online. Many likely expected it could have led to some negative notifications for the studio and its parent company, Take-Two Interactive. Instead, the rich get richer as the publisher stock had one of its best days in months. Online backing group Shiny Hunters released confidential data about Grand Theft Auto Online and Red Dead Online revenue and player numbers. The group grabbed the data as part of a digital breach involving cloud servers and metric software after Rockstar confirmed the breach had happened and then refused to pay the group's ransom. Shiny Hunters released the allegedly stolen assets onto the dark web. I don't know where the dark web is specifically, and fans dug into them. There wasn't any GTA 6 news or source code, though. Instead, what found was that Kotaku was able to verify with those who have seen the data is a lot of numbers that show just how profitable GTA Online is in 2026. Does it show the number? Looks like Take-Two shot up $207 a share. That is roughly a $1 billion increase in market cap in one specific day. That's ridiculous.
That is.
But it goes to show, Trey, that a stock price is irrelative to what the actual company is specifically doing. It's just whether or not what people see from data determines if it's something that they want to buy and have a part of. But those numbers must have been pretty good. The article I don't think says what the numbers are.
It's something like, I saw a video on it. It's something like 50 million a week from GTA 5 online alone.
That's ridiculous. Things are happening over here.
Is.
Give 2 seconds to catch up. Yeah, it's the life that we live of the lag life. Okay, so $50 million a week is ridiculous. No wonder they're dragging their ass on releasing GTA 6. Like, who gives a crap? We're making $50 million a week just from GTA 5.
Yeah, honestly. And it's,
absolutely.
So this is actually something, mind if I ask you a question on this, Jeremy?
Yeah.
So do you think that companies get too fixated on the portion of the market that makes them the most money? For instance, GTA 5, all of their 50 million comes from 4% of the user base.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I think they do. And I think from a traditional business or marketing sense, I feel that the reason why that happens is because you want to pour fire into the thing that it seems to be driving more and more revenue, so it can become more of your share of the revenue over time. But then they get kind of fixated on it, which I think is could be a problem in the long term. Because again, one of the things, Sony's one of my favorite companies. Sony's one of my favorite companies for the mere fact that they have a 100-year plan. So and I think Amazon, when Jeff Bezos was at the realm, I think also did a good job at this as well, was that he was mainly focused on how can we create innovation. I'm thinking about what our profit and loss statement or what our numbers are going to be in 10, 15 years, right? The stuff that is coming out now that they've been seeing is stuff that they've been working on for like years, right? And so again, I think but I don't think a lot of companies do that. because some companies get stuck in this thing that is generating them money, that they're not properly doing R&D or research and trying to grow for what that's going to look like in the next 15 or 20 years. And I feel that that's why, at least in the United States and around the world, that innovation isn't where it used to be, because we're okay with, like, I mean, Apple, like when you think about Apple, Trey, like have they, I mean, do you think, like, unless they have some stuff coming out, do you think that they've really innovated anything in the last like 5 or 6 years?
So I don't know, like it really depends on where your definition of innovate is. Maybe not, but if you like consider like Apple Silicon, for instance, which is their last big one.
Yeah.
So that was an innovation because it was way better than anything out at the time. I'm not glazing. That is literally just the facts, unless you're talking about something that has a massive GPU installed. When it comes to integrated memory and stuff, it was just ahead of its time. And I think that a lot of their, like, I don't think that they are innovating as much as they could, but I do think that they are innovating.
Yeah. And I guess maybe my thing was, maybe Apple may not have been the best, like, specific. Well, I'll think Microsoft is Microsoft. I feel like hasn't been innovating anything in the last, like, there was an Adobe, right? There was this bucket of time where Google, Adobe, Microsoft had new things trying to come out all of the time, and that were pushing like new envelopes forward. And then it feels like then everybody got hyper focused on AI. And then that's where literally all of their resources went. And they like pushed everything else. It feels that way. I'm not saying that they did that, but it feels like that's where everything got pushed aside. And we're not seeing a lot of this new innovation from a lot of these leading tech companies.
I would agree with that.
Yeah. And it could be that we're in a time now, we're also in a time where a lot of the stuff they've been, they had been working on, they maybe already released and they didn't hold stuff in the pocket. And now they're just trying to do a lot of research, and then we're going to start seeing another boom of these things trying. But I don't feel like there's a lot of new stuff, new stuff that's coming out. And I think a lot of it has to do with the way in which people run companies now, from a much more conservative approach, right? Or in your case, holding on to that revenue and then just hyper focusing on that, and not thinking or trying to grow the other areas that they should, or innovate in the other areas that they should.
Yeah, and I think that this is actually something that is a bit of a proponent in the entire games industry. Everybody, especially after Fortnite took off. Did you ever play Fortnite?
No, I've played it. Yes, I'm horrible at it.
So am I. You're in good company. Fortnite went off, and they made it a thing where they were influencing kids. It was literally influence to go in there, buy in the seats, and it wasn't. Most of the people weren't making them all that much money, but the whales, and this is an actual term in the industry, the whales, the people who spend tens of thousands, that's who they're going for. And now you see in-game transactions everywhere because everybody's focused on that, because they see that as the way to make themselves the most money, but they're not innovating in a gameplay perspective for it. They're just trying to suck out the money.
Yeah, absolutely. Because again, it's all about shareholder value. However, I'm trying to look here. I'm looking on Dr. Chat GPT. I'm trying to look at like R&D budgets, because I mean that's where we could really see, because I mean we want to see R&D budgets as a percentage of a company's revenue increase over time to really show that they're doing that innovation. But again, these numbers are, it looks like in the U.S. business R&D has actually risen 1 to 1.5% of GDP globally in the last 30 to 40 years. But it looks like if you look at like these graphs here, it's steeper in the beginning part of those years. It's kind of like flattening out. But again, we don't have to fully talk about that, but I think that's a good point that you make, Trey. I do want to welcome Jinx to the show right now from Cause Talk Live. Jinx, how is your day going? And thank you for jumping in.
Yeah. Oh, my cat just showed up. Come here.
That's fantastic. What's the cat's name? I always forget.
is-
I only know Coco.
This is Luna.
Do you have something called Coco? I didn't make that
do.
up, did I?
Coconut's my
Okay.
dog.
That's what I thought.
This is Luna. She's chatty. Luna.
Luna, chat for us. Chatty chat chat. Everybody say hello
Hello.
to Luna.
That's
Should I
a
freeze?
beautiful cat.
She's like, I don't know. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's been
what is
good.
this? Why is this guy screaming at me.
I start a new job next week, so I was down finishing that stuff up. And then I've been sewing a lot. So yeah, been doing good.
Why have you been sewing a lot? Just making for Fan Fusion?
No,
Or just
I've been
practicing
making
sewing?
there's coconut there. I'm making those Filipina dresses because there's a festival next week, so
Oh,
I want
that's
to have
right,
some
yeah.
on hand to sell.
That's right. I just hired for 3T Warrior Academy. My accounts receivables is someone from the Philippines. So, and my executive assistant's from the Philippines. So,
Nice.
I'm gonna have them teach me Tagalog, and then I'll speak it to whomever I.
And then teach it to me.
And then I'll teach it to you. Yeah. All right. Moving on. Age verification is coming for the internet, and it's already raising red flags. What began as an effort to bolster kids' safety online has morphed in recent months into a broader debate over privacy and anonymity on the internet. Mandatory age verification, which requires websites and apps to confirm or estimate users' ages before they grant access to certain content, has continued to gain traction nationwide as more states pass laws mandating some form of it. Supporters argue that rules are necessary to protect children from harmful content, including pornography. Critics counter that age verification could backfire and undermine privacy and free expression online. This is from Eric Goldman, a professor at Santa Clara University School of Law. Every single time an age authentication mandate goes into effect, the internet shrinks. Some adding that as mandates are implemented across the board, they could determine whether people have conversations online that we find socially valuable. Age verification technology is some of the most child protective technologies to emerge in decades, says Christopher Mufridge, director of the FTC's Bureau of Consumer Protection. So let's open up this can of worms. We'll start with Jinx. Where do you stand on age verification requirements for content on the internet? And should it be strictly for things that should be over 18, or should we set age verification limits on things like social media, such as some countries are starting to do?
I mean, I think that parents really need to take a lot of responsibility on what their children are doing on the internet. They can't be saved by, I mean, there's even ways to get around age verifications, you know, I think it really needs to start with the parents. I don't think age verification is bad. I see that people are like, oh, but our information. But again, like nobody really cares what you're doing if you're not, if you're not like a terrorist. So it's like I don't mind giving my information to like internet companies and stuff like that. I get why people don't like it, but I think it's a good effort. I think every social media platform, anything that engages with other people online, like in a live setting, or I don't know, having age verification, but I don't think it's ever going to be like a perfect process. Parents need to put out more education about how parents can control what their children do online. I think maybe that's where the focus needs to be. Oh, you're muted.
Is he still here?
I think you're muted. I can hear.
It's because
Trey.
I'm muted. I muted myself because I coughed and I forgot to unmute myself. So I saw Trey shaking his head yes. So Trey, you agree, and then dive into it. You agree that it needs to be more education for parents to educate their children on these types of matters.
Yes, as a matter of fact, I think that is the primary way to do this. On the effect of like, it doesn't really matter if you give your information away. That is absolutely true. In a lot of ways, it doesn't really matter. It more matters if this stuff gets out in a way. And sometimes, so for instance, back a while ago, were you here when we talked about Discord doing this, Jinx?
No, but I know Discord does do it. Sorry, I was changing my lighting was all off. No, I wasn't there, but I don't know. Maybe because I'm not a parent, but I don't think it's a bad thing at all.
Well, it's so the entire thing is like it doesn't matter if they have some information, but if that stuff gets out, these people, the people who have ill intent can say, take this information, and they can find information that maybe you don't want them to find out, like your social security number or all of the shops that you go to, or stuff like that, based on the other information around what it is, which is always a concern thing. But in my personal opinion, it's not that it's necessarily bad. I think that a lot of this stuff is very well intentioned, but I do think that it entirely needs to rest on the parents, and there definitely needs to be more education on how parents can actually do that.
My problem with the parent thing, though, is are parents going to do it? Like, we could spend tax dollars. We could spend, there could be nonprofits that go out there and try to be like, we need to teach our kids about these things. These are educational resources. I mean, I guess some parents would do that, but I think that it might be. I agree with both of you that the parents, it's the parents thing, but my concern is that parents weren't going to give a crap, and then it's just going to continue anyway. So does that mean that the government should step in and do it?
Like the government can do as much as it can with education, right? There's definitely improvements that can be made with education, but the parents need to send their kids to school. You know what I mean? There's only so much that you can do. So it really needs to, and I think that I think it started with millennials, how, we were told, be anything you want to be, but go to university and get in debt. So I think that, and I'm not a parent, but I know a lot of millennial parents who kind of completely backfired on them, right? Like helicopter parenting, and they're watching everything that they do, and like they don't want to believe anyone else's rules, or I don't know, but I think we need to bring it back to parents are the number one responsibility of children up until they're 18. It's not what's on TV. It's never what's on TV. It's what TV you show them, and how you teach them about it. Like, there's so many ways that it just goes back to the parents that, if you don't want your kid talking to random people, have them play a Roblox only in front of you. There's so many things that can be done. And I think an education workshop or education campaign on this would definitely be beneficial. Not anybody's fault, but your own if you don't take it.
Yeah. I also wanted to push back, Jeremy, if you don't mind. Is that all right with you?
Yeah.
Just a little bit?
Go ahead, Trey.
Just a little bit.
So in my personal opinion, you're not going to reach 100% both ways. It's either you are losing parents who aren't being responsible with their kids, or you are losing kids who game the system or the system doesn't recognize. That's just my opinion, though.
Yeah, and I agree. My thing is, I'm always against weary. Obviously, I'm very liberal, but also too, from a liberal perspective, I am also against the government having complete overly control over what we do and information that it has. And so I feel that sometimes in these instances, when the government is putting on verifications, like, I'm an complete advocate for free speech, right? I'm not a huge pornographic watcher on a regular basis, but my point is that I'm against the age verification requirements for pornography when we can't even settle on making people go to a class to learn how to shoot and get a license to have a gun, right? And so when you prevent people from being able to see pornography, and I know this sounds weird, right? That I'm sounding like I'm a huge pornographic person here at this point, but that's not the point. The point is when you mandate an age verification on something like that, it makes it easier to then continue to put age verifications on other things that we want to censor people from having the ability to see from a non-censorship perspective. And so again, I think that sometimes there's things that we're doing that we shouldn't be doing. And I'm also against, even though I'm sure that the government could get the information anyway that it wants, I'm always against giving information, especially to a government, or having the government mandate other types of collection from corporations that they could then utilize that information to profit from without sharing any of that profit with us, right? Because if I put my data into a pornographic website for my ID card, right? And just so you guys know what I'm talking about is there part of one of Trump's things was that it put like ID verification to access any type of pornographic website. So like Pornhub shut down in the United States and things of that nature because they weren't willing to do that. But my point is, on the companies that were willing to do that, think of how powerful that is for a company if they're able to see how old every single person is on that, and the ability to then sell that information to another type of company that could then utilize that information to profit on us without us getting any of the profit. And that is a traditional problem with data that we should all be concerned about, is the amount of data that we're making billions and billions of people off of because we use these things that then we don't get any benefit from. And that's, again, one of the biggest problems with capitalism, but we're not going to go into that because this is a capital show. This is a show apparently about pornography today. And so moving right along from the pornographic material, from age verification, I'm against age verification on most things. And I think it's up to the parents and us as a society to educate people, to protect the people with the stuff. All right, moving right along into non-pornographic material. Before we go into pod news, Trey, what's going on in Discord? And did we have an anime roundtable this last week? Because we did.
We did have an anime roundtable this last week. It was a really fun one. If you guys ever want to watch or come and catch up with us on some anime, talk about what we're doing, that is every second Tuesday. And then next Thursday, it was going to be yesterday, but next Thursday, we have our Super Mario, crap, why am I blanking?
Galaxies.
Yeah.
Spaces.
Yep. Our Super Mario Galaxy Spaces, where we're going to go and talk about the movie, which was really fun. And then the week after that, I believe, on Tuesday, it's the fourth Tuesday of the month, we do Discord games. So if you guys are interested in going and chatting with us about podcasts or gaming or anything like that, check out the Age of Radio Discord. There should be a link in the website because they don't have it on.
I changed our view. I wanted to see what it looked like. It looks good.
Does look good.
I don't know how to get it back. There we go. Yeah, Joey, you need to see Mario Galaxy. Jinx, did you like Mario Galaxies?
Yeah, I did my quick take on it.
Yeah, I know
I thought,
you did.
I thought it was a lot
if
of
you
fun.
want to see Jinx's quick take, go to Age of Radioverse on Instagram.
Yeah, I thought it was a lot of fun. Definitely interesting, the twists that they threw in. And I think it's really cool that Peach is like all like badass in the movies. I mean, she's badass regardless, but you know, they really focus a lot on Peach. Although what I said in my quick take was that it felt a little chaotic. Like the flow was really strange, like trying to keep up with what was going on. It probably needed to be like a 2.5 hour movie if they wanted to, you know, put some more information in there. And then I was bummed we didn't see enough more
Jinx,
in the
you froze.
next one.
Jinx, you froze a tad bit.
Yeah, you froze. What was the last thing you said?
Oh, can you still hear me?
Yeah, what was the last part you said, though?
I said we didn't see enough of Rosalina, but hopefully we see.
Yeah, that
more
was
next
one of the things that I like. Rosalina seemed badass, and then like you didn't see enough of her, but her wand techniques and the fighting was really cool. And yes, there's spoilers. I probably should have. We will spoil stuff on the spaces. I really enjoyed the movie. There was some problems that I thought there were in it, but overall,
And
it's a
I'm
kid's
gonna
movie about Super Mario Brothers. What do you? I mean, I'm gonna not like it. But Trey, go ahead.
Yeah. No, I was just going to say, Jinx, I hope you attend the spaces because I didn't see a switch, so I gotta ask you what switch up you saw because I didn't see it.
Which one? Sorry.
You said there was some like a reveal or a surprise or a switch in the movie.
Yes.
And I said, I hopefully you come to the spaces so I can ask you about that because I didn't see it.
I don't want to say it here, but
Yeah, we won't say
near
it.
the
Say it
end.
on the spaces. On the spaces, on the X spaces, we'll do all spoilers,
Nice.
which I thought was
And
really
sorry
cool.
about my internet. We've changed it over because F Starlink, but now T-Mobile's not being great. So I apologize for that. I'll try not to freeze.
No, you're good. I freeze all the time. Who cares? We are continuously making the show better for our now 105 subscribers on YouTube. which I was really excited about. If we could get all 105 people to show up to this show when we record it, that would be awesome. But moving right along into some pod news now. Let's go through some quick pod news. The new podcast studio, Light Knot Studios, is apparently copying the names and designs of 75 successful history podcasts to confuse listeners and attract ad revenue. It was first spotted over the weekend by Dirk from the History of Germans podcast using Pod SEO, who advertised with Pod News weeks ago. He told Pod News, "We all have competition, but if listeners look for History of the Germans and they stumble onto this visual copy instead, they'll be confused and will think it's not worth listening to. We're all struggling hard for the first listens. It's very, very irritating." I also feel like that should be very, very illegal. Trey, what is your thoughts?
Yeah, this is something where, like, I believe that there should be a YouTube style takedown here. This is clearly a copy of the podcast. Sounds like it's a clear name copy thing. It's obviously intentional. So I think that they should be able to go to it sucks because you have to go to all of them, but Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or if they can find the host, but I don't think they can find the host. But yeah, I think that they should be able to take that.
But at the same time, isn't that the same thing for all the scammers that we have at the Academy? Like, there's at least 100 of me on TikTok. There's like 9. I pay someone, just so you guys know, to stop scammers of myself, Coach JV, and the team at 3T Warrior Academy. I pay like $15,000 a quarter for something ridiculous for this company to go and stop people, like putting down scammers of imitations of us on social media as to not scam people out of their fucking money. Excuse my language. And so I feel like no one can stop anybody from doing anything anymore, is the way that I feel. But this is 100% horrible. They shouldn't be allowed to do this in any way whatsoever. And I think that companies like Facebook, Instagram, whatever the podcast companies are, like you said, Apple, Spotify, our arch nemesis Spotify, I feel that they should actively try to stop these things from happening, because it does take money out of the people that are actively trying to make this as a living.
And if you are if a company ever watched this that is going to be a social media, I have a solution for this. I'm just going to put that out right here. I do know I have an idea for this, but yeah, so I just had to put that out there.
Wait, what's your idea? Oh no, what happened to Jinx?
Oh no,
Jinx left.
We lost Jinx.
Okay, well, she'll come back maybe. Who knows? Trey, what were you saying? What was the idea?
So I don't want to get too far into details. My idea for this is taking the characters of the name, stripping out any characters. So, for instance, Coach JV _, you strip out the underscore. You also strip out any numbers. So if it's something like Coach JV _0125, whatever the flipping string is that these guys do, that's all stripped out. And then you go with the numerical connection of the letter. So A1, B2, C3, and you separate them into the letters. You turn them into the numbers with that thing in it. You add them together, and then you that is the number range that the person's username is. And then you use that range. If anybody else in that username reaches that range, you go, okay, let me see if this is trying to be the same person. And you check like the pixels of the profile photo, or to see if all of the letters match up or something like that.
God, that's really intricate, Trey. You might be onto something there. But here's Dustin looking all buff. Look at Dustin looking buff here in this picture. He says, "Pod my news." And then Joey says, "Cute profile pic, Dustin." Joey, you don't even have a profile pic. What are you watching this on? Jinx is back. I don't know what happened. She said her computer crashed.
Yeah, no idea. My computer was just like, bye. Everything's went black. I'm back.
All right. Well, Jinx, before we move on, any thoughts on the stealing of podcast?
Yeah, that sucks. Stop doing that.
Perfect. You heard it here. That sucks. Rode made a number of announcements at the NAB show. Trey, one day a year I want to go to NAB. That's like that's where like all the new music and tech, like for audio and stuff, is shown. It's like one of my favorite. I don't know. I feel like I want to go to other conferences and not like work the conference and actually go to be a part of the conference. But this one I might do both that because I love NAB. I guess Rode's releasing this thing called Sonora, if I'm saying that correctly. It's a tiny microphone technology component. It'll be part of upcoming new microphones with Rode's. I just got a new Rode pod mic to do for my Age of Jeremy conversations. This is obviously Shure SM7B, which it's not my favorite Shure mic, but seems to be very popular in the podcasting space. And new products announced. But and also too, if you watch all of our live shows, we use tons of Rode mics. Rode's is one of my favorite creator mics. But anyways, so new products announced but coming soon are squarely aimed at the video podcast world. So they're releasing a thing called the Rode Link 2. It's a new wireless microphone system, an LPA1, a new low-profile studio arm for precision placement without visual obstruction, DS3, a desktop studio arm, and I think I have the DS2 studio arm, and PodMic flag, a bespoke flag for the PodMic, so we can actually get one of these bad boys for that. And eventually my goal is to put Dustin's face right there. And every time we rock around, you're just going to see Dustin's face on this flag right here. Yeah, so I think Rode's a great company. Jinx, what microphones do you use when you're like, what are you using right now as a microphone?
I don't know if you can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah.
Can you see me? My computer is just like flipping
What's
out.
that? Okay, yes, I
I
can see
don't-
you and we can hear you really well. It's actually a great
Okay.
stream that we see.
Oh, there we go. Like everything just went blank again. Hi, I don't know what's going on. So the
Nope, Jinx is gone. Jinx,
mic
you
I use
disappeared
right now is
again.
Niwar, but I'm not using it right now because I've just changed my desk setup, and I don't know.
Jinx.
Hi.
Okay. Yes, you can't, but you can see us.
Yeah, I can. Everything's fine now. I was trying to do a speed test on my internet, but it started flipping out. But anyway, the mic I use, I'm not using it right now. I use a Niwar mic, which is like an Amazon brand. But I'm not using it right now because I just changed my desk setup. So I used to be like facing this way, and like that was my back. So now I'm this way, but I don't know. I don't have a place to put it. I need to get one of those, those racks that you can put up over a table and like hang cameras and stuff on. I need one
Yeah,
of
that's what we
those.
have. That's
because
what we
I
have
don't
at the academy.
Yeah. I don't have anything to put like my lights too far. And then the shelves that I have, maybe I just need bigger clamps. I don't know, but the shelves I have are really thick. Anyway, it's not the Jinx show, but yeah, that's a cool
It's
picture.
always the Jinx show. Jinx, when are you doing? Are you doing Cause Talk Live? I know I see Sam. Are you doing anything right?
So
Have you been doing anything?
because I've been doing like all these different job changes and everything, I'm gonna wait until I get like my actual schedule, which I don't know. I don't even know what it is yet. I just know that I'll be working every weekend, and then I will start implementing back into my stream. But Amber Bright she's back doing her Amber Bright crates, and she's going to be gaming. So she'll be doing every Thursday and then alternate gaming and crafting. And so I should be joining her probably on the next gaming one. And then Thermo's gaming and then does a monthly craft stream.
Yeah, so just so everybody knows, Cause Talk Live is amazing. I don't know what I was going to say. I was going to kick back over to the road. I don't know what I was doing. Okay, so moving right along to NAB 2026, Rode Link 2. This is a professional wire. Hey, Dustin, are you still on here? Dustin, just say something if you're still on here. Look, professional wireless microphone system.
Meet Rode
Dustin
Link
said
2,
you're
our
welcome.
next generation professional UHF wireless microphone system. Designed for filmmakers, broadcasters, and creators who demand absolute reliability in demanding production environments. Rode Link 2 combines Rode's precision engineering with decades of...
I just want to say this to our 105 subscribers now. I really appreciate all of you because we put a lot of money and work into this show and to do live events that we appreciate every single one of you for this.
wireless
We're going to keep buying all of this stuff and try to make the show even better. and do stupid things to Dustin.
Expertise from industry titan Electrosonics, bringing Academy Award-winning wireless innovation into a new generation of Rode products. Offering extended range, superior stability, and exceptional resistance to RF interference, UHF delivers the reliability.
I don't need to go on all that. I just want to see what everything looks like. Let's see if the DS3. Yeah, I just bought the DS2, so I'm glad that they released the DS3 already. I'm really excited about that. Because I think this was like $100 for this Desk Studio arm.
On desktop-based setups, we're also introducing the DS3, a compact desktop studio arm designed for stability and flexibility. Elegantly designed, its heavy weighted base provides exceptional stability without the need for clamps or mounting points. A precision ball head enables smooth control.
Yeah, the DS2 is pretty dope. All right, I'm gonna see what else they have here. Let me see. And just so you guys don't know, Rode's an Australian company, so shout out to all the Aussies out there. I think it's Australian, and I think that I hope Aussies is Australian, and I just defend a bunch of people.
Trim intros, remove.
Yes, Dustin, I do want all this because that's where I spend all my money. Is I just buy a bunch of equipment and it just sits in this room, and then we occasionally use it for really cool stuff that our 105 followers look at. Let's see what he said. Jeremy, it would be cool if you unbox them live. So now he'll buy me one. I don't have a problem buying anybody to do somebody unboxing. I will unbox all kinds of stuff live. To sit and clip a video and cut to do an unboxing, I would rather just jump on here and open it and show everybody.
Ooh, I'll unbox things. I already do.
I will let people unbox things. You guys gotta let me know what you want. I think unboxings are awesome, and I love, I don't know, stuff. It's a Pixar lamp. Hey, it is a Pixar lamp.
Filler words, generate highlight clips.
Yeah, they're moving to
script-based editing. You can refine dialogue simply by editing the automatically prepared next chapter of content creation.
All right, well, we weren't planning on going into that, but that was fun. So everybody go buy Rode stuff. Go Rode, go Zoom. Those are my two favorite companies, and Neumann, or my favorite microphone company, is my favorite microphone company of all time. Let's skip this IAB lab thing. Everybody buy advertisements. Let's get into some gaming news here. I think this is new gaming news. But yeah, let's start with this one to help fight the man. All right, Ubisoft settles with developers who were laid off after unionizing. Didn't we say that was going to happen, Trey? I feel like one of us predicted something along these lines.
I'm pretty sure, yeah.
I just remember there was a lawsuit. Ubisoft Halifax would have been the French publisher's first unionized studio in North America if it hadn't been immediately shut down after developers there organized. Months later, Halifax workers have finally secured a settlement as Ubisoft moves forward with cost-cutting measures across the rest of the company. 61 union members voted overwhelmingly for the deal, CWA Canada announced earlier this week. The terms of the settlement will remain confidential, but impacted developers said that despite a tough negotiation, Ubisoft respected the union and acted in good faith. It came as a surprise to all of them and to the frontline managers, as we were in the middle of many ongoing and new projects and doing great work. Former Ubisoft Halifax employee John Huffman made that statement. He also said, "We are extremely grateful for our union for negotiating the package for us." Halifax, which worked on Ubisoft mobile games, unionized back in December of last year. Just weeks later, the publisher announced it was shutting the whole studio down. Ubisoft denied that it was a union-busting move. So over the past 24 months, Ubisoft had undertaken company-wide actions to streamline operations, improve efficiencies, and reduce costs. It said in a statement at the time. That's because Ubisoft has a horrible go. I personally think Ubisoft should go private, and then they should sell to some type of fund, but that would probably cause it to more cost cutting. I don't know. Trey, what are your thoughts on this? Do you think that more workers should unionize, especially in the developer space?
I do think that unionization is a very good deal here. I don't know that everyone should do it. I haven't worked in one of these offices where But when it comes to, I think unions, as much as, why can't I not say that word? I think unions, as much as companies hate them, do give leverage to the actual employees, and that, as big as these companies are, is very important.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that developers should definitely unionize. I believe that we should have more unions in the United States. I know that sometimes there's this concept that they can get corrupt, but I feel like any organization could get corrupt. Doesn't mean that you should stop all organizations just because some of them end up being corrupt. That's like saying we should stop churches, we should stop religious places, we should stop governments, we should stop, I don't know, hanging out with friends because some friends are corrupt. Like, it doesn't mean that. It's such a weird statement to me. The other thing that I think is good for unions, if you've seen, like, when you saw like the largest impact in the United States, when there were a lot of unions and there were a lot of organizations that focused on the labor movement and labor increases, you could see a drastic rise in the real value, the real wage value of hourly work. Right. And so when more of that stuff started happening with inflation, we don't see real wages rise as much as we should have over the past 20 or 30 years. And I personally think that's a lot of the reason, because we don't have a lot of organizations of unions. And it sucks that we have to have that type of organization to fight for those things. But I think that it's very beneficial, and especially for developers and for artists and for, I don't know, a lot of people. Jinx, what are your thoughts?
I actually worked when I worked for U.S. Airways, which is now American Airlines. They're unionized. I was pretty young I was like in my early 20s, so I didn't really understand fully what the union did. But I learned more about it when I left. I did get laid off though, and the union couldn't do anything about that. But that was not long after the economic crash of 2008. I was laid off in 2009. So I think in the sense of large corporations, I think unions are pretty important too. And just like you said as well, like artists, contractors, etc., there does need to be protection, especially in a state like Arizona, because we're an at-will state, right? So employees don't have a lot of protections.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree. One thing I do agree is this next article is, I think that this should be a main thing. I want to see Nintendo bring back a Game Boy device. I think that it's cool that we can take the Switch with us places. I think it's cool that it works the way that it does, but I want something that I can pull out of my pocket that's like in my hand, like a DS. I think there's a DS sitting over here that I could just open up, that's really small, like a Game Boy. Remember, what was the first game? Wasn't there a small Game Boy that was like a square that you
Yes,
like?
the SP.
Yeah, that's what I want.
That was my favorite one. It actually fit in a back pocket and flipped open. And I actually had a couple different versions of it. And I let Ryan put the one I have on display right now. And he actually got another one and changed the case. But I do love, like, I didn't play a lot of Nintendo consoles, but I loved their handhelds. So I did own the SP, a Game Boy, a DS, the DS Lite, and the 3DS as well. So I still have mine. And I think they're really cool. I think the DS and 3DS were just big enough. Like, I think any bigger than that was too big. And so now I see people carry around their Switch cases and etc. And
it's so weird. The whole idea was for you to put it in your pocket in some capacity, pull it out of your pocket. And I guess you can do that with your phone, but it's not the same.
Right, because you're on your phone all the time. Like, I don't really play games on my phone. But you know, and that was supposed to eliminate carrying all that stuff. But you're right. Like, I really do miss, and I used to have PSPs too, right? So PSPs are kind of like Switches in a way, just tiny. Yeah. And then the PS Vita went even smaller, and I think that's what killed it. But I don't know. I think it would be cool to bring them back.
And then Joey, I don't know what you're talking about. I think we should stop all those things. Are you talking
that
about
was back unions? That was back on the toxic thing. You're listing off things to stop. But John says, pretty sure I still have Zelda from my old Game Boys. But do you have the Game Boys? Although Zelda
you have the game. Well. You need the Game Boy to do it. And a Game Boy Advance MP3 player has this person wishing that Nintendo made more gadgets, as we're about to get a surprise Dragon's Dogma 2 DLC. will an upcoming PlayStation State of Play spill the beans on Santa Monica Studios' new and not God of War game? And are we entering a new era of MP3 player love? You can check all this out at Kotaku.com. And if you go into our Discord, you can have access to these articles as well. But again, it looks like there's just a Game Boy Advance MP3 player. So I'm guessing it's an MP3 player that was converted into some type of Game Boy to play Game Boy Advance games.
It looks
I
like
don't
it's
really
one of
talk- I
those
didn't really
like
read this article.
yeah, it looks like it's one of those third-party like handhelds. I don't know if you've seen that one. Like that size is pretty good, but I don't know. Going back to like MP3s and yeah, I don't know. I used to play my games a lot on my iPod Touch, so I actually had like the last I still have it, the last version of the iPod Touch, and I would play games on that. So
Yeah. It said, what if a Game Boy Advance was actually a primitive sliding phone? That's the question the designers of Ann Bernick RG Rotate appear to be answering. Instead of a mini keyboard, you get a D-pad and some face buttons. For some reason, there's no headphone jack. Hopefully it won't be super expensive, but I guess that's an actual thing that's coming out. If not, it could give Nintendo a run for its money when it comes to the coolest retro gadget 2026, the Game Boy. That's actually a $70 MP3 player that only plays chip Pokemon music, to a reminder of how close the Mario Maker is to making actual cool lifestyle gadgets. I guess this is it here. Hold on, let me see if I can get this. This will make more sense. Sounds like a luxury.
That's, I don't know. Are you guys stuck?
don't know what
maybe
happened.
it's Jeremy. Your video's frozen. Might be Jeremy this time, not me.
Not you this time.
No, but talking about this, the whole like rotate up thing is cool, but it's like not like the SP that closed and protected the screen. So not sure how I feel about that one, because like the SP Jeremy says we're on our own, so I guess he's frozen forever. Okay, so the SP was kind of like its own thing. Like they did make cases for it and stuff, but you really didn't need it, especially now that they've come up with all these other like custom cases and stuff. Like the SP or the DS, you could just like throw in your bag and the screens would be perfectly fine, especially the 3DS because that screen was pretty sensitive. So that thing looks cool, but I don't think it's very functional. You still have to put like protectors on it, right?
Yeah, I think it's just like a very niche gadget. Although, if you give me just a second, I got to show you something kind of neat. I think that apps are one of the cool ways to do this. Do you like records?
Records. So I was actually in a record store last weekend and I was like, how crazy that record stores are like back. But no, I personally don't. I think they're cool, but I never really got into the records.
Fair enough. I've got an app here that is called MD Vinyl, and it connects to either Apple Music or Spotify, and it makes your library look like a stack of vinyls.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, aesthetically, yeah, I do like the idea of like the vinyls. They're just like, I never got into those, but that is really cool. Oh, welcome back. You didn't
He's
abandon
back.
us.
Yay!
Well, I don't know what happened. I like my computer like reheats itself or refreshes itself or something, and then it like starts back up and kicks me out. I don't know what's going on.
That's what mine did. Is it like a thing? I don't know. Like that's what mine did, but I think it might have been my power strip because my laptop didn't die.
Mine was this stupid Microsoft Surface. I'm blaming Microsoft for all these problems.
I was just about to say Windows.
No, it's not
kidding.
just because of
I'm
Windows.
just
It's
kidding.
specifically this Microsoft Surface thing, not a Windows issue. But Jinx, tell me you're on a Mac.
No,
I know you're not on
I'm
a
on a
Mac.
PC. I'm on my Alienware laptop, and then I have my PC. Like, I almost logged into my PC, my desktop, because I was like, this isn't working. But yeah, I'm back.
All right, how'd that video go? Was it good? Was it nice? Was it cool to
It
look at?
froze, and I think that's all we needed to see.
Okay, fantastic. Love it.
Yeah.
Not
And we
something that
talked
I will
about-
buy.
We talked about how like the SP, looks like almost the same size, but the SP is good because you close it, protect the screen, and you don't necessarily need a case on it. But this, you still need to protect the screen. Oh, look at that. Joey says it's totally Windows. They're fixing bugs from the latest updates. Seriously? So is that maybe
No,
why?
that's not what the issue is with my computer. It has something to do with my USB-C and the freaking fan thing that's connected to it. So Jinx maybe, but not my specific computer. And shut up, Trey, on your Mac stuff. All right, if you let's do a poll with the 4 people that are in here now, because when I somehow something happened, all the people left. But anyway, put in the
They only
poll.
want to see you, Jeremy.
I guess. No, I don't think that's happened. They probably were like, this is a crappy show because it froze. You're telling me you're spending all this money on equipment, yet the show just keeps freezing. It keeps going out. Hold on. What's your favorite OS? We'll do Windows. Let's do it real quick. Windows. What's iOS? What's Mac's OS called? Mac OS?
Mac OS.
And then what's a Linux option? Linux? We'll just do those.
Linux. Other. You could just as easily put other because there are like 2 billion other ones.
All right, there we go. What's your favorite OS? Put a 1 for Windows, 2 for Mac, and 3 for Linux. For the 4 people that are in here, and if you're watching this later and you make it this far, I want you to put that in there as well. My MacBook Pro never did that stuff. I miss it so much. Well, yeah, but you're using a Windows now, right? Is what my guess is. Oh, sweet. It counts it, and then it puts it up there when we put numbers. I'm going to put Windows.
Oh, wait. It totally counted my... Wow.
Oh, it counted your word, too? This is
Yeah, I
actually a
think
really
so.
cool StreamYard Pro thingy. Or YouTube. I don't know what actually is doing this specifically.
Yeah, I was like looking in the YouTube like interface. I'm like, where do I vote? So that's pretty cool.
Pretty
And
cool.
StreamYard had
Hey,
a lot of updates.
Put Mac in there. I want to. You want to put Mac for you? I don't know if it'll change my voting.
Oh, hold on. I should do. Probably didn't quite catch that, so I'll do.
It
Oh,
doesn't
Trey,
look
are you in as me? It's saying that I wrote Mac.
might
I would
be.
never do such a thing.
Oh, there.
Yes,
it counted
probably did.
Dustin.
Okay, Dustin's win. Okay, Windows is winning. Yeah, Windows is way. I mean, I'll give it that maybe it has some tech problems, but overall, it's. I don't know. I think it's a much better operating system, but I shouldn't say that because I need to buy a Mac Neo and then see how I like that. But we'll spend $500 on a bunch of road stuff. So, true or false, Jinx? You've never seen Avatar: The Last Airbender.
True.
And true or false, Jeremy? You've never seen Avatar: The Last Airbender. That is also true. I have never seen Avatar: The Last Airbender. Jinx, I don't know what happened to your face. It's gone.
I'm under the pole.
You're under the pole. Hold on. What's this do?
Oh,
I
hi.
maximized you. Oh, no, there you are. Now you're maxed. It feels like we've never done any of this before. So when I'm messing around.
I think
with
you need to
Okay, hold
remove
on.
the pole or.
Yeah, I
move
know.
it.
I'm working on it. I have to go over to.
It's
It'd be
okay.
great if Dustin, who was watching this, was in here. He could just
I'm on the mobile.
manually do all of the things. All right, poll's still going. Put your numbers in there: Windows, Mac, or Windows 1, 2, Mac, 3, Linux on your favorite thingy-mabobber OS system. All right, so Joey loves Avatar: The Last Airbender. It's been a viral week for fans of Avatar: The Last Airbender following the leak of footage from the upcoming aged-up feature film Avatar. Is it Ong, Trey? Aang. Ong, Aang. What's the...
dude? Oh no!
Is it... Who's Ong? Aang. What am I missing here?
Aang, it's Aang, and
Fine.
it's-
Okay, that's what I'm going to
you
do.
just-
I'm going to go on Amazon right now. Hold on, I'm going on Amazon right this moment.
Amazon.
Let me find it. Let me find Amazon. I'll buy the entire thing and I'll sit down and watch it.
You don't have to do that, but you just triggered an entire race of fans because in the
An entire race of people? Was that a racist
Not-
remark?
No, No, what I mean is wrong, bad wording on my part. You just ticked off an entire section of fans because there was the television series, which was great, and then I can't remember the director's name. Joey, if you know who I'm talking about, help me out. He made a movie, and they called him Ong in the movie.
It was
and
when M. Night Shyamalan made his Avatar movie.
Yes, that was it.
Yeah. Okay, so how do you say it? It's Aang?
Aang, with a long A.
Yeah, well, I hope that I pissed everybody off out there, and I'm going to continue to call it incorrectly. So then Avatar: The Last Airbender, or in the movie by M. Night Shyamalan, he used Ong instead of Aang?
He did.
Oh.
That's so weird, especially when you have the source material right there.
You could have just went and watched it and found the name of the person.
It
so is
reminds
that like
me
the
of
main character?
Yeah.
Aang,
That's
yeah,
the main
he's the main
character.
character. It's like the whole thing when Final Fantasy VII Remake came out and like they actually like had voice actors because the original one didn't. And everyone's like, Mako, I call it Mako. And it's like, oh, the source material said Mako. I don't know. Anyway, whatever.
All right, so it looks like that the protest might have happened because of the Paramount Skydance Studios' decision to pull Aang from its theatrical release schedule in favor of streaming-only release on Paramount Plus, slated for October. The Aang link followed leaks of Illumination's Nintendo's recently released Super Mario Galaxy movie and 20th Century's Avatar: Fire and Ash, which who cares about Avatar, also known as Ferngully: The Last Rainforest, on the platform using the X Premium feature, allowing videos up to 3 hours long to be posted. I don't know. Did anybody see the actual trailer? Joey, did you show the trailer in our chat?
You just said what Jinx
no.
said.
What happened?
No, Joey did not see.
Oh, he did not do that in our chat? Okay, wait. I'm so confused.
They were talking about it.
Oh, they were talking about it, what was happening. And then that's when Jinx said that she'd never seen it. I'd never seen it either. Hold on, I'm going on Amazon. Somehow it just brought up that stupid Fire and Ash movie from Ferngully: The Last Rainforest, Fire and Ash. All right. I'll have to buy. I'll have to buy it later. I'll get it, though. I'll get it and watch it. Everybody says it's really
so
good.
Yeah, I don't doubt that it's good. It's just like, you know, like the forever long list of things to watch. And then again, like I get intimidated by like series that are already like epic. But yeah, I mean, watching the One Piece live action like actually encouraged me to start watching the anime, which is like the anime. It's so hard to watch after watching the live action. So
why did Trey just leave? Trey, stop yelling at Grandma.
Trey, we can see feet.
Trey, your feet, your camera zoomed really far in. Followed you up the stairs. Wow, that's crazy. What kind of camera are you using?
That's my iPhone.
All right, guys. Well, we're coming up on the top. Actually, we're past the top of the hour here. Thank you so much for tuning in to Mercury, your own for podcasting and pop culture news. Jinx, I'll kick it over to you for any final thoughts and goodbyes, and then we'll go to Trey.
Yeah, guys, have a good week. I can't believe like we're into spring. Wait, aren't we spring? Yeah. We especially wait, no.
March 22nd, I think, is spring.
Oh, forget what I'm talking about then. I don't know what month I'm in. Anyway, yeah, it's getting hot here, so it doesn't matter. It's like in the hundreds already.
Here. We're in summer now. We're in summer for the next 6 months here in Arizona.
Yeah, but guys, if you do like cosplay related geek content, check out Cost Talk Live. We're on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and Twitch at Cost Talk Live, and we have some gaming streams and we have like cosplay crafting streams. So yeah, sponsored by Age of Radio, so come by and check us out. We do have a calendar, so we don't have like regular schedules, but we have a calendar. And yeah, so you can catch me, Jinx Cosplay, on other socials, whatever they are. And yeah, thanks, guys.
All right, before I kick it over to Trey, I just want to say Windows won our favorite OS system here, but I think
you're right. All 4 votes.
Yeah, all 4 people. All me, Dustin, Trey, Jinx. We're all voted. John, you better have voted if you're still watching this. John Oh my gosh, John. I'm sorry, I can never pronounce your last name. All right, Trey. Last final thoughts. Where can people read your Substack? What do you got going on with podcasting and so forth, so forth?
Yep, you guys can find me just about anywhere at Creator Trade. The Substack is creatortrade.substack.com. I would love to hear you guys' thoughts on the article that we discussed at the top of the show. And Jeremy, I hope you know that I was just kidding with the.
About what?
The coffee might be the Aang thing.
Oh, that's
the
fine. I don't care about anything. You can
thing.
make fun of me. I make fun of Dustin all the time. The whole show's based on making fun of one person. We should make fun of other people. Dustin did say he played and just so you guys know, Dustin played the Magic the Gathering Airbender set, but he knew nothing about Avatar, which is odd because Dustin has a degree in animation.
Did you not know anything about Magic the Gathering or Airbender?
No, he knows a lot about Magic the Gathering. He's ridiculously, crazily good at it.
I mean, that comment on its own, right?
Yeah, that's true. He didn't know anything about Avatar: The Last Airbender. He knows a lot about Magic the Gathering. Speaking of which, did you see this, Jinx? Were you? I don't think you were on the show, but you might have been watching the Strixhaven set.
Mm-mm.
So there's a new Magic the Gathering. Oh, but you only bought the Magic the Gathering because of Final Fantasy. You didn't buy it because of Magic the Gathering. I'm really excited for the new Strixhaven set. I'm gonna go buy a box of it with my avatars. And then I'm gonna sit here and open cards in front of Trey. Speaking of which, Trey,
do that live.
We can do that live. We're supposed to have Toshi come on here and talk about Pokemon. That kid has like a whole Pokemon shop. He sells Japanese cards, crazy stuff. But my name is Jeremy. You can follow me at Age of Jeremy. Watch my podcast at Age of Jeremy. Check me out on the New Wealth Transfer podcast every Friday at 12:15 Arizona time. The 3T Warrior Academy YouTube. I usually stream it also to my Age of Jeremy YouTube channel. And follow me on my orange robed adventures on Substack, which I still have no idea. It's just finance stuff right now. So it makes no sense whatsoever. But follow me there as well. And follow me on my Dope Insights and updates. Dope Insights and Updates channel on my broadcast channel. I was talking to someone earlier today and they made a comment. It was yesterday in a meeting and they made a comment and I was like, oh, that sounds like something that I would say. And they're like, well, yeah, because I follow you on your Dope Insights and Updates channel, which I thought was kind of funny. So check that out as well. I also am very transparent about my investments on that channel too. So check us all out there and follow us on all of our fun adventures as we age and do stupid shit. And with that, as I always say, be thankful, grateful, and kind. And we'll talk with you guys soon. Bye.
Bye.